down a little bit, as you say, but there were still a lot of teachers here today. They did an orbit around downtown. Now they're marching east toward Buckingham Fountain, where they will disperse for the day. But the second rally, second day of the strike, the union intent upon showing its strength in numbers. The teachers did take their march here earlier to LaSalle and Jackson, which has become sort of a celebrated location for addressing social issues. It's where Occupy Chicago spent much of this past year. The teachers came here to symbolically address what they contend is a threat to public education. And that being at the heart of this dispute, they say, underlying it is the privatization of schools. And they blame the mayor as being beholden to corporate interests and pushing this charter school agenda. They carried a huge banner saying, "Take back Chicago." CTU President Karen Lewis, surrounded by a crush of cameras, was hugged and kissed and cheered by teachers who came to this rally. Lewis repeating to them what she said before: "We didn't start this fight." And to the notion that negotiations are moving toward a possible deal, Lewis said, "Understand this, there are 49 articles in the contract. We have agreed to only 6. So the union says CPS is purposely misinforming the public. Darren, how soon do you get to those 2 keys? I know you don't want to prioritize, but...
Well, you know what, the 2 keys, that's the mayor's talking points. Those aren't ours.
Well, let me come off that.
Yeah, please come off of that.
The teacher evaluation, how soon do you get to that?
We're actually working on that right now. That's what we were working on when I left.
Is there any reason to think that there might be movement on that issue?
I hope so.
Another dynamic in all this is that the strike has significant national consequence for other unions, other cities. It's a presidential election year when the president is courting union vote and the mayor is his former chief of staff. So many eyes are watching, and pressure will certainly build the longer the strike lasts.
I think people are being very serious about trying to get issues resolved. We want to see those issues resolved as quickly as possible.
That may not come overnight, right?
You know, everybody's working hard to get this resolved.
And the seriousness, it may depend largely on whether or not they're able to make any progress on a couple of issues: teacher evaluations, teacher recall. Ms. Lewis saying that when she returned to the bargaining table, which she has already done, that those issues will be taken up. Yesterday, they were not. Other issues were dealt with. They were less consequential issues, so now they got to get to the meat of the thing. Live in the South Loop, Paul Mike, ABC 7 News. Linda, back to you.
All right, Paul. And Mayor Rahm Emanuel spent part of his day pushing his education plan, while also repeating his message that this teacher strike could have been avoided. ABC 7 political reporter Charles Thomas joins us live from City Hall with more about what the mayor had to say about that today. Charles?
Guys, that the CTU called off its demonstration this afternoon outside the mayor's office is some measure of good news for Rahm Emanuel. From a union point of view, the mayor, who wants to change the way teachers are hired and fired in the Chicago public schools, is considered the bad guy in all of this. The mayor's office fired up its public relations machine during the noon hour with his honor meeting children whose strike daycare just ended at the Tarkington School in Marquette Park. The CTU responded quickly to the announcement that Emanuel would appear at this location, dispatching hundreds of chanting pickets here to greet him.
I want to repeat, this was a strike of choice, and it's a wrong choice for the children.
The mayor also repeated his position that principals should control the hiring of teachers at their respective schools.
It's a key issue about which direction we're going to take and whether we're going to have a school system built for accountability that holds our principals accountable in the school rather than downtown making the choice.
Appearing with the mayor were a half dozen principals, as well as Chicago School Board member Mahalia Hines, a former teacher and principal who is the mother of actor Common.
You can't be held accountable if you can't select the people you work with. It was just way too difficult.
It's been really important for me, being held accountable for the school to be able to figure out who are the best fits for our particular kids in our particular context.
The union is concerned that in the future, if thousands of teachers are laid off because of underutilized schools, they won't be guaranteed jobs at some of the reform schools. That is a major issue at the bargaining table this afternoon and moving forward in these negotiations. Reporting live from outside the mayor's office, Charles Thomas, ABC 7 News. Back to you in the studio.
Charles, thank you. Other news, the Illinois State Police now investigating